Kenny Polcari, SlateStone Wealth chief market strategist. Kenny, it feels like the whole market could be in the splash zone of Nvidia's earnings.
It is. I mean, it always is on earnings day, right? Because it represents a major part of the market. It also, is connected to so many other players in the market space. So people wait on edge for this. Look, I suspect that they're going to surprise to the upside. I suspect he's going to do everything that he always does. I also think I wouldn't be surprised if we see the trader types hit the sell button because, to your point, it's up 86% since April. It's up this month alone. So people are just going to kind of position themselves. That being said, I think investors have to listen to what he says about, to your point, the H20 chips, which China, by the way, has kind of pushed back on, right? They no longer want that because it's a sub-chip.
Well, and it didn't help that Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick came out and very publicly said, oh, it's their fourth best chip. It's old, it's obsolete.
Correct. But what I'd really like him to talk about, or what I want to hear, is an update on the hyperscales, because we already heard, from Amazon, Meta, Apple, they're spending billions of dollars. I want to know if he's got any insight into, are they spending more, or what's the next plan? Look, we own Nvidia, I own Nvidia. On a pullback, I'm going to buy more. If it rallies, I'm going to let it go.
You're going to be patient.
I'm not, Nvidia is one of those names, I'm going to die with my Nvidia.
When you talk about the hyperscalers, just so people who might be new to this, those are the big, gigantic companies, Microsoft, as you said,
Amazon, Apple,
Meta,
right,
trying to build up as fast as they can their operations.
And so they use all those Nvidia chips in order to do that, right? So Nvidia, Jensen Huang sits right at the nexus of it. They all got to come to him, right? Which is why it's a name, I think, that, has become so impactful for the market, but has become so impactful on people's portfolios because everyone has exposure.
Okay, to wit, if you look at CoreWeave, today, Cantor Fitzgerald said that they were initiating coverage at an overweight and a price target, I think, of about $116. It's at 96 right now.
Right.
CoreWeave exclusively uses like 100% Nvidia chips in their data centers where they rent out space.
Right.
So you see, right now, we've got a big move here of more than 5%.
In CoreWeave. Right, but CoreWeave, if you notice, CoreWeave really kind of took it on the chin a couple of weeks ago, right? When after their earnings came out, the thing sold off. I think it was off 40% at one point, CoreWeave, wasn't it? After the earnings came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was off big.
Okay.
And so it makes perfect sense. Now, it's on sale, so it's building a base there. And now with Nvidia today, it was worked out perfectly that they're going to upgrade that stock.
Let's broaden this to the entire market. What would spook the market? And let's say people out there have the portfolios and they don't own Nvidia. They are not interested, at least at the moment, but they see the market dropping. What do they do?
Right. So, again, depends on who you are. Are you an investor or are you a long-term trader? What kind of a portfolio do you have? Do you have good, high-quality names? Then you shouldn't be nervous. But, look, if Nvidia somehow comes out and disappoints, which I don't think they're going to do, but if they do and it spooks the market, we will see a swift, rather quick reaction to the broader market, to the downside. And then everyone's going to take a step back and say, wait, let's kind of dig into this and see what it says.
We had shown the VIX. So week to date, the VIX is up about 5%, showing a little bit of jitteriness. Exactly.
Right.
And some of that, in fact, you could argue a bigger part of that has to do with the president who came out and said he was going to fire for cause Fed Governor Lisa Cook.
Right.
And he didn't cite any evidence, but did say that she's allegedly involved in some mortgage fraud. She's refusing to step down at the moment. And so does the Nvidia number eclipse all of that in DC?
You know what? I think it eclipses that for today. Then I think once the news comes out and the market understands what Nvidia does, then I think it's going to start to focus on the broader things again. And I think, look, the politics are not going to price stocks in the long term. We know that. It may create some short-term angst, which it surely will. But I think that Nvidia's today, after today, then they'll focus on what's happening at the Fed, whether she goes, whether she stays, how she fights it, and what the ultimate result is going to be. But I understand the VIX has ticked up. I think we're a little bit toppy. I think September is typically a volatile month, so people should brace themselves for a little bit of a pullback.
Right, and when they're exactly, September is not the best month when it comes to the history books.
The weakest month of the year.
But again, you throw in the president making some decisions about the Federal Reserve and basically being very public and saying, I'm going to have a majority, meaning a Republican majority. And that's the first time that we've ever really heard sort of that in-your-face politicization.
Okay. And that's, I think, is going to backfire on him. That's where I think he's gone too far and it's going to backfire on him, right? Because it's going to feels like, look, I want to make every decision. I want to take control. I don't want the Fed to be independent. I think that's wrong, right?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, and as you look at all of that, I think it's three straight, when you look at the markets, 4 in a row, we're looking very strong. 4 in a row win for the Dow and the S&P, 4 monthly wins. So it would not be a surprise.
Not at all.
No panic at all if September starts to pull.
No, there shouldn't be panic. And I've been talking to clients, and I've been saying it all along in my notes. I'm cautious. Doesn't mean I'm out. Doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. It just means I'm not chasing tech. I'm putting money to work in sectors that have underperformed. But as we move into September, I'm going to sit back a little bit and just see how this all unfolds ahead of the FOMC meeting.
What does well in a seasonally slow time like September?
I would go to the kind of the boring defensive names. So again, I would look at basic materials. I'd look at consumer staples. Those are the kind of names that I would look at.
It's interesting because industrials are the second best performer as far as sectors are this month.
Right. And
this year, rather.
And utilities, I think, are the third. I mean, utilities typically the most boring sector in the whole universe, and they are one of the top three. I think it's the third position this year, right? Industrials, I like, and I think industrials certainly are a place to put money. But if we're looking at the market pulling back, consumer staples have underperformed, so there's a place, right? Industrials might get hit a little bit because if the whole broad market pulls back, then they'll look to take money off sectors that have outperformed, right? Consumer staples haven't outperformed. Basic materials haven't really outperformed. So you'll see less money coming out of those sectors and maybe more money going into them as people try to reallocate.
And we should tell our viewers tomorrow in this hour, the final hour is going to be a rockin' hour because, of course, we have Jensen Huang, my one-on-one with him post-earnings, but also we'll see in this final hour how the markets absorb that fresh inflation data, the Fed's favorite inflation data.
And look,
July PCE.
Yeah, and look, it might be a little bit harder, but I don't think that's going to change the decision in September. I think we are going to get a 25 basis point rate cut in September. I just think we are because I think he's been kind of forced into it. And I think the data suggests that 25 basis point is not going to be so dramatic. It's not going to send mortgage rates down to 5%. It's not going to send borrowing costs down, but it will be kind of a move in the right direction that the market is expecting.
Kenny, thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Kenny says don't panic no matter what. So he knows what he's doing.
Don't panic.
Thanks so much.